each want to introduce yourself and how did you find out of the gold card and apply for it?
Sure. Yeah. So I'm Jenny. I'm from the UK, but I moved here about 3.5 years ago. Found out about the gold card. So I first moved here on like a working holiday visa and got a job, and then hated it and quit my job and was on a looking for work extension visa thing, and went to Futurewood and met Natasha. And then she told me about it a couple of years ago.
So my journey in Taiwan actually started, I'm also in Taiwan, by the way. It started back in 2015. That's when I came to do my master's here in Tsinghua, in THU in Hsinchu. So I spent 2 years there, did my master's, MBA, majors in marketing and sales. And that's when I decided to move to Taipei and started working here.
I'm Chase Nelson. I'm originally from Michigan in the United States, and I first came to Taiwan in 2013 as part of a National Science Foundation exchange program with Academia Sinica Zhongyuan. And so that was my first chance to visit Taiwan during my grad school years. And then I did a postdoc after grad school in New York City. And when that was coming to an end, I thought if there was ever going to be a time to actually move and live in Taiwan, then that would be a good time. And so I came to work at Academia Sinica in 2019, and so it looks like a very good decision moving there from New York City after the fact, like I avoided the bullet with COVID-19.
Do you guys just want to talk about a little bit why Taiwan and why you chose to live here? Whoever wants to go first.
I wanted to stay in Asia. So, and it wasn't because of the country. It was probably because of the scholarship that the country was giving me. I came here, and that's when I fell in love with the country, which is, you look at the people, they're so helpful. I still remember day one, I entered my uni and I had no idea where the dormitory is because the boards were, in Chinese and I wasn't sure where to go. So this one guy, he was going somewhere else, but he made sure that he dropped me to the dormitory. And I was like, this would never happen in my country. This is great. And later, then I found out the health, definitely the NHI program that you guys have. It's amazing. It's probably the best in the world. And of course, the taxation is lower as compared to other countries. So there were more and more reasons for me as I stayed longer. And I guess I can call it home right now.
I second a lot of those reasons. I think that the hospitality in Taiwan is really unparalleled. Here, people understand that you may not be able to speak the language. They are extremely helpful. They put themselves in your shoes. So the hospitality here, the kindness, is really something that sets Taiwan apart from a lot of other places, I think. Of course, the food is also unparalleled and very cheap. Every street corner has some delicatessen or something that's really excellent. So that's a huge bonus of living in Taiwan. I would say that food is the most celebrated culture here in my experience, and it's really excellent. As a beverage drinker, it's an amazing place. I love bubble tea, which I had never tasted properly before coming here. There are coffee shops on every corner. It's just like New York City in that regard. So if you enjoy coffee and drinks, it's also a great place.
So what would you guys say would be your favorite Taiwanese food?
It's probably pretty blasé or typical, but I really love hanbao dan. So the breakfast cheeseburger, egg cheeseburger is amazing. Dan bean, zhenju nai cha. Those are probably my three favorites.
Yeah, I think anything from like going to a red chow place and just ordering everything on the menu, maybe not like the chicken feet or GP gu or something, but most stuff is like amazing. So many like fresh veggies and stuff, like got a lot of veggie friends, so it's easy to get loads of nice veggie food and everything's really fresh from the market and things. So yeah, and just having like beers with friends around a big table of food is amazing. But yeah, breakfast shop and bubble tea as well is, yeah, you get hooked on it easily.
Yeah.
I love the dumplings, especially from Din Tai Fung. And then also the guo tea, it's called, the fried ones. Yeah, those are amazing.
What would you say would be your like most favorite free time activities that you do here?
I think for me personally, cycling around the city, like you have those U-bikes and they're super cheap, probably 20, $30, and you drive around for an hour. Especially the riverside, that's amazing. And another thing is that you have in Taiwan, a lot of the public parks, you have some activities to do around that, like whether that's rock climbing, whether that's playing tennis, badminton, whatever that is, it's easily accessible and available, especially near the place that I live. So yeah, that's definitely one of the things that I do over the weekends.
Yeah, same for me. I love taking the U-bike along the riverside. I live right next to Rauhe, so I can just go straight on, and that's all I can do at the minute. So it's my whole, it's like fresh air, and being out the apartment is amazing. And yeah, you can go as far as you want and see the sunset all the way. And then I take a lot of dance classes here, which is, I try to do that in every city I go to, which is like a great way to meet people. And even if it's in Chinese and I don't understand, then you can just, copy, and it's totally fine. So yeah, I take go to a couple of studios and take classes with a few teachers, and yeah, I really enjoy that. There's loads here, and people, like, if you're a student dancing like the MRT stations and things like that as well, you don't have to go to a studio. You can do it for free or join a group or something. So yeah, I love that.
Yeah, Taiwan does have a lot of dance culture too, so that's been a great benefit of living here.
Yeah.
Similar to New York City, it's like you can sort of take it doesn't have as many classes as there, right, but you can find some class to take almost every day in the style of dance of your choice somewhere in the city, and it's got a great community. Yeah.
Yeah.
I myself enjoy doing musical theater, and so in my free time, I've been able to find opportunities in Taiwan for musical performance. Let's see, the last one was in Nangang in January. We did a show called Bright Lights for Dark Nights at the Bottle Cap Factory, the old building that was converted. So that was a really great experience. And so if you're trying to find like-minded people to collaborate with and pursue projects with, it's a great place because people just love creating and putting together collaborations. One thing I wanted to say about Taipei is that, even living in New York as an LGBTQ person, you still get some discrimination, you still get some name calling, even in a place like New York City. But I have never felt as safe as I do in Taiwan.
Taipei is sort of like a small, big city with that neighborhood kind of feel.
Well, for me, I think Taipei is great because of the opportunities here, right? Like, so if you think of the job opportunities, if you think of the accessibility of all the international brands, if you want to shop and all of that stuff. So considering that, Taipei is great. If I were to, like on gunpoint, move away from Taipei, I'd probably go to Taichung, because I've heard great things about it. I've heard that the weather is great there. It's always sunny. So that's one thing I'd consider doing.
My boyfriend always wants to move to Ilan because he's a surfer, but I've said no because it's too, there's nothing there. Beautiful as it is. I like going on the weekend and for holidays and things, but not to live so far out. I'm freelance, so like having loads of cafes around and just people and events going on and things like that. It makes much more sense for me to be in Taipei, I think, at this point.
Yeah, and isn't it only like an hour to Ilan or something? You can get there quickly. Yeah. It's got great surfing.
Super fast. You don't need to move there.
Yeah.
Moving here, what sort of was the biggest cultural shocks that you had, or things that you had to get used to? Problems, challenges, whatever that may be.
For the first month, I'd say was food for me. I was surviving on Subway for the most part, Subway and McDonald's.
With the food, isn't it also difficult at first? Because just, coming from the States, I had some concept of what the foods might be, but no ability to say them in Chinese, and I couldn't read menus in general. And so it's like, I don't even know how to pretend to ask, I just don't have a concept of what to even order.
Usually end up looking on Google reviews and seeing what photos there are on there and just pointing at it and saying, is this good? I don't know.
You have this?
Yeah.
Well, speaking of food, I think Uber Eats is a savior for me. Not Food Panda, Uber Eats, because now all the menu they have, it's in English. So you can order from whatever restaurant you want. You don't have to translate, and you can order in English. I'm not advertising for them, by the way.
Well, you were in marketing, or what was it?
Yeah, sales and marketing.
Okay.
So you've had some work experiences here as well, right? Like you're working for a company here right now, or?
Yeah. So I started with a Taiwanese company, and now I'm working for an international company that has a Taiwan subsidiary. One thing that I was used to back home was we would say a lot of things explicitly, and not leave it to be read between the lines, which I think in the corporate culture here, it's slightly different. So here it's like they'd say something and then it implies something. So that took a while for me to adjust.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, Jenny, you worked for corporate as well. Did you have, do you have any specific experience you can share? Or
I think like you were saying, like there's no like yes or no straight answers. You have to read between the lines a lot.
Yeah, I think that the logistical hoops that are necessary to do very simple things like get press for a study or so, every single thing that you might be able to just send an email about in the States often comes with tons of paperwork and logistical hoops. And so to me, in my experience in science, that has greatly stifled creativity, including my own, because I don't want to deal with tons of paperwork for something I view as, that could be accomplished with an email.
I think that's where Gold Card comes handy, right? You don't feel that you're tied to a particular company, and then you can explore other options. While you mentioned the paperwork, I was thinking of how easy it is to file taxes in Taiwan. I've done it multiple times, 15 minutes. Every single time. It takes 15 minutes for you to go in, just give your papers. I think they just take your ARC card and they tell you, okay, this is the amount that you had to pay. This is the refund. It'll be in your account August the 2nd. I'm like, wow. Back home, it would take months and months of paperwork to I think in the US as well, it's pretty complicated to file taxes, right?
It's ridiculously complicated. So that's it stands in stark contrast to everything else. How come taxes are so great, right? Yeah. You, especially as a foreigner, I could go in and they basically did it for me, like you said, in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, that's it? That's amazing. Yeah.
We almost need to advertise that element of the country.
What would you say would you have learned living here?
There are so many job opportunities and work opportunities here that are all through networking. And I think Taiwanese are extremely good at networking. Like, for example, in New York City, there's a Taiwanese society and all the Taiwanese musicians hook each other up with jobs. And that sort of comes from this culture of helping each other out in your line of work. And I think that has been a great thing that Taiwan has taught me, is the importance of building relationships with people in your field. And then that just opens up so many avenues for work.
How about you, Jenny?
I find it more important to travel, especially being in Taiwan. It's like such an amazing base to be. It's kind of in the middle. You can go so easily to Hong Kong or Japan or the Philippines, or like go anywhere so easily. Yeah, making the most of being in the place I am, being in Asia and seeing more of the world.
If there's any place in the world to go, it's like the book, what is it? The Alchemist. Like you never learn about your home. You never fully understand your own home until you leave it and experience it from another point of view in general. And so Taiwan has been great for that, because it really is such a cultural melting pot. You've got the Japanese influence, Chinese influence, some Korean influence, and it is one of the most liberal and open societies in Asia. And so coming here is just a great place to get a different cultural perspective.
How long are you planning to stay, or are you just going to see where life takes you? What's sort of the outlook for the future?
For work, I would potentially move away. The only other pull back to the Western side of the world is kind of family and being so far away from them, which has been hard. Like the past couple of years, I haven't seen them at all, and I'm like close to my family and things. If I want to have kids and stuff in the future, then having parents nearby is a massive benefit, because if you're doing it alone in another country, then it's scarier. Those kind of things play on my mind, but I'm kind of a bit too chilled out about it and happy where I am right now and not making any decisions yet.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think for me also, just so far so good. I'm really enjoying the time here. And then let's see where life takes us.
Yeah, I'm similar. I don't have any plans to move away from Taiwan, so I'm kind of going to live here indefinitely. Um, but the main drawback is, like you say, the proximity to family or lack thereof. It's hard to get back, and then maybe it feels so hard because it's been COVID the last 2 years, and so just wanting proximity to friends and family is perhaps the major obstacle that would cause me to move away. But I'm hoping I can work out sort of part of the year here, or most of the year here, but then visit home periodically, maybe twice a year, and that would be enough.
It's high time for the rest of the world to know how great a place Taiwan is, and for them to explore it, if not call it home, at least give it a try, come here, get the gold card, if you qualify, of course, and yeah, see what the country has to offer.